Hello, we are the Geeks and the Degenerates, and today we are rounding out our historical epic lineup with the Woman King. I am Enzo, and this is my co-host John. And yes, as I said, we are talking about a recent historical epic, which had all the hype in the world, and I don't understand why it wasn't nominated for anything, because I saw it recently, I'm like, damn.
I don't understand it either.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, really?
Yeah.
No nominations at all from fuck, what was her name? Amanda Waller.
Viola Davis.
Yeah, Viola Davis. That lady's like God knows how old. She's jacked as fuck, and then she's doing all these tricks and shit.
Yeah.
And she's acting like a fucking boss. Not that she wasn't already, as you know, Amanda Waller, but now you're like, oh my god.
Yeah.
Like first you're like Amanda Waller, and then now you're like, oh god, Viola Davis.
Like, she has come a long way in my mind for just like, oh, that's the person from How to Get Away with Murder, to like, oh my god. She's scary as the boss of the Suicide Squad and as General Naniska. You're like, fuck.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, I guess you guys know we were all hyped for it when it was coming out. And like, we are still hyped for it because just beginning of this movie. Like, it establishes what the Ogoje are, what what do you call the kingdom?
It's not gonna be
the Home is
the Home, yeah.
And what the deal is with the rival tribes and all that. And we get the opening battle. You see Viola Davis and Lashana Lynch's character. I forgot her name, but she's pretty Izage, I think. Naniska and Izage, and you're like, oh shit, it's the person from James Bond.
Bond.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like, she just
goes. She built us. Yeah. Everybody here is built.
Yeah. She just goes up, in my opinion, from like, I liked her in Captain Marvel. I love her in Bond. I love her here. We're like, damn, Lashana Lynch is really cool.
Yep, she really is. And then like, yeah, the opening scene alone is like, oh fuck! So this is how they fight. I don't know how African martial arts is.
Yeah.
But if this is it, I'm all for it. Like their knife work and their sword work here is fucking amazing.
Yeah.
Especially their takedowns, and it's very creative. I don't know. I just couldn't predict their movement.
Yeah.
I'm a person who comes from a martial arts background, and I couldn't really pinpoint like how do they set that up. So it's either just African martial arts that they probably have been doing for a long time, or somebody's just very creative in the choreography department.
Yeah.
But either way, it's fucking amazing.
And from this, you can tell their styles. Like Izage is an acrobatic, is like Nightwing, for lack of a better term. She like does spins and shit, but she is devastating with the weapons as well. But General Naniska is a tank, just a brute. We're like, god damn.
I don't know. It was like Viola Davis here. I was like, oh god. But at the same time, I was like, I'm very intrigued. How do you get those muscles?
And then her right hand, her BFF, is also very aerobatic. You're like, cool, I like these styles.
Yeah. Anyway, they're the Dormilaje. Like, if you know what the Dormilaje are, this is them in real life.
Yeah. You can tell where people got their inspiration for the Dormilaje and Black Panther. But this whole story, unfortunately, is fictional. Like, this story in particular. But, like, the Home itself has these elite women soldiers, so that's where they got the inspiration from, as far as I read. And like, you see the rules, like the common folk aren't allowed to look at the Ogoje because they're so what do you call this, the highest of high in society. Like, they're the elites of the warrior class, even though they don't mind being looked upon. Like, Izage has a moment with the kid and he's just like, but I wanna look. Oh damn, these are the people protecting us. Cool.
No, but that is a big thing in like when it comes to African tradition. I think, so like, you're not supposed to look at something so high up Like it's either like a royalty or a holy thing. Like because I do have a friend who lived in South Africa for a while, or in Africa, where they would have this tradition where everybody has to stay inside and while they do this ritual. And if you were outside and you saw what they were doing, they would smack you on the head, like really hard.
Not just like
Before,
bad, just
no, like legit. You're like, oh fuck. Like they'll try to crack your skull kind of deal, and
damn.
like you just stay inside, stay at home, close all windows. You're not supposed to see this thing as it's happening. And if you're outside, you do your best to like not look at it at all.
Okay. I like this focus on African civilizations because admittedly it's the most underrated type of like civilizations in any historical epic. Like you barely see, all you see is Rome, you see Greece, you see Britain, you don't see the Aztecs that much. It's only that one Mel Gibson movie, and you don't see any African civilization. You see the Persians, but the Persians are like vilified, and you're like, I kind of want to see a movie on the side of the Persians, of like what's it like being a Persian.
Yeah, here now we're like, I don't know which part of Africa they're at. You could correct us in the comments below. But here now we see what African royalty might have looked like, or what it does look like back in the day. I am not sure. I don't know if they made majority of these structures up, but like, this is what royalty looked like to them. I am guessing.
Yeah,
It could be a completely different story. I am not putting myself there. Don't fact check me.
Speaking of royalty, you meet King Gizzo, played by John Boyega. I'm like, finally, a role with some substance to it. Fucking
it does
about
have
time.
substance. Yeah.
A lot of substance to it. About damn time, sir.
And John Boyega, you looking good, homie. Holy shit, good on you.
Yeah, I saw him. I was like, damn.
Yeah, like not the fat shame or some shit like that, but like
he's in better
seeing you
shape.
from like seeing you from Force Awakens to this, and like, man, you went from 10 to 100 here. I'm like, shit.
And then you meet Nawi, who's in the worst state of like, I don't want a husband who hits me. I'd rather join the elites. And then Izagi is like, here, you'll become a warrior. Your opinions will be respected. You'll get every what do you call this, privilege that common folks don't have, especially if you're a woman, unfortunately. Like, we have better things that the common woman don't have, which is bullshit.
Yeah, when you mean by bullshit, you mean unfair, right?
Yeah. Like,
yeah, okay. Yeah,
that's unfair.
Like, you made it sound like, oh no, that's bullshit. Women get what we get.
No. I'm like, yeah, it is unfair. Of like, everybody should be fair in the kingdom, but like, that's how things were back in the day. Just funny how you look at it back then. You're like, okay, we're better now, hopefully.
Yeah, I love the character of what was her name?
Nawi.
Where like, don't you want the husband? And it was like, I want the husband that doesn't hit me. I was like, yeah.
Yeah.
Let us have the choice. Let them have the choice to like not get that.
Yeah.
You know?
And the big delay is like, oh, the Oyo tribe is making bang with trading with slavers, and we should do the same thing. And it's just like, no, we should not do that thing. We should not trade in our own people for money. We can do palm oil. He's like, is palm oil as good as slavery? He's like, no, but what?
I was like, when I was watching this, I was like, oh, we're trading in our people for money. In my head was, negosyo ka babayan, pumili ka. I was like, oh, that brought me back to Honolulu.
Yeah, exactly that. Of like, do you want freedom or do you want business? It's not really a hard choice. I mean, running a country, sure, but like, that should be like a common answer of like, no, I want freedom for everybody. Yeah.
And by the way, the drawback when it came to being part of what do you call them again?
Ogoje.
The Ogoje is, yes, you have every privilege that the regular people have that women don't, but you cannot marry and you cannot have children.
Yeah. What's wrong?
So it's kind of still like, what?
What is the
So
plot?
they still don't have the exact same rights as everybody else, but
Yeah.
it is a bit weird.
Which is also a plot point later on of like, oh no.
Mm.
But yeah, like when they're training Naui and like the other recruits, like from my background in like school of like, oh, General Naniska is the strict one, and Azoge is the chill, laid back one, and so is the
Yeah.
best friend of Naniska. Of
You know, like you could tell that Niniska is like the dad figure,
yeah,
while the best friend, horrible with names. I'm sorry, is the mom figure where she's a little too caring, while Izoga is like the big brother.
yeah, it's the fun teacher. Like, yeah, I
Yeah,
can hack. She lets us drink whiskey. Yay.
yeah,
And then you cut to the port of the slavers, and they come from Brazil. And you see that this movie does not hold back when it's talking about the Atlantic slave trade, of just the ugliness of it. You're like, fuck. This was
Yeah.
what, 200 years ago? It's scary to
Yep.
think that, like, oh, this was not like 1,000 years ago. This was like literally like 200 years ago.
yeah.
It was crazy.
This is 2 lifetimes ago. Well, technically 3 now,
Yeah.
but that's not a lot of time. That's so short.
Yeah. And of course, you see the rival tribe trying to intimidate the Home, and you see flashbacks of Ananiska's past of being held captive, and then the consequences of that. And you're like, how is this going to play out? Because obviously she's going to get revenge on Oyo's king. That's for
Yeah.
sure. But like later on, you see a plot twist. You're like, oh, shit. But before that, the Oyo king's like, all right, we'll give you what you want, but you have to surrender some of your Ogoje. And they're like,
Yeah,
shit.
like 20 of them. I was like, that's a big number.
Yeah.
By the way, before that, I do love the training scene that they go through.
How is
Like,
a
it does
rope a
make
weapon?
sense.
It's like, fine, use this fucking sword.
Yeah, and she couldn't.
Yeah.
And then you see, like, Viola Davis just, like, fucking decimate this fucking
That's how
dummy.
you know why she has such big guns. Of like, of course, because scanning any heavy metal object, like how can, if you're not trained, how do you decapitate your enemy?
Yeah. And, like, and then they go through this, like, relay race where they have to go through this barbed wire kind of plant with
Thorn
thorns.
bus. Yeah.
Yeah, and excuse me. Whoever got there like first would be part of the Goje.
Yeah.
I think they all became part of the Goje, but like
Now he does go back to help her friend, and Izog is like, why? Why do that? Like,
Yeah.
because she's my friend. Okay.
yeah, where like don't leave a man behind kind of deal. But their practice is more of like save yourself kind of deal.
Yeah.
No?
Oh, before that, we forgot the fake trade of Ogoja, the 20, and then they're like, nah, fuck y'all, and they ambush Oyo, and then Nanisha tries to do a one-off with the Oyo's king, but she gets beaten, and now he does rescue her, but she gets scolded because like, why aren't you following the plan? We work as a unit. It's like, I was trying to
Yeah.
rescue you. It's like, you're so stubborn all the time. Just follow fucking orders.
Yeah, and then like their best friend pulls her up and was like, "Hold on a second. You were the one who deviated from the plan. We were supposed to run. You stayed." And I'm like, it's like, yeah. Why you yelling at her?
And then you also find out that one of the traders, his mom, was part of the Home, but she was a slave, and then she, I guess, fell in love with a white man, and that's how we got that one sympathetic trader. But yeah, after the...
Okay, look. All I gotta say is that I'm just so happy they didn't oversell or like try to put this whole like out of nowhere love story
Yeah,
in front of what really fucking mattered. I am so happy they didn't do that.
same here. I was worried of like, is this why they didn't get any awards? Just became cheesy? No, that's not the answer.
No.
Thankfully.
No.
Though when she met him at the waterfall, I was like, this is the part of the movie where it could just.
Same.
Yeah.
I was like, this is where this could go all awry.
Yeah.
Like the whole fucking lore of the Ogoja would have been put on the back burner and just focused on this love story, which they didn't.
Yeah.
I am so happy that they were adult about like, yeah, you know what, this is not about that.
Thankfully it's not. But then we go back to after the tournament where Niska recognizes like, oh, you have a scar on the back. And she's like, where'd you get that from? I'm an orphan. My dad says it's from the devil. And she's like goes back to her room and asks her friend who interprets all of her visions. Is like, what did you do with the child? She's like, you told me never to talk about it. Now's the time to tell me. Oh, I gave it to the missionaries. Like, oh shit.
This girl could be my daughter.
And then you look back on like the flashbacks to her captivity, and you're like, oh no. Oh no,
Yeah.
indeed.
Yeah, Niska went through some shit.
Yeah.
Like horrible shit.
Yeah.
And I feel so bad.
Yeah. And then she eventually tells Nawi of like, this is why you're like, oh, this is why you're so overprotective of this one particular person, because she, in the back of her mind, she's like, could she be? And then when she finds out, she's like, fuck. She is.
Yeah. She is. And then like to prove it, or to like, I don't know, like to make sure that it is hers, she puts like a shark. I don't know how that works. She puts a shark tooth inside of her skin and she made it heal. And then, so she has a piece of shark tooth in her. So when she cuts it open and she like finds out, I was like, oh, you are my daughter. I'm like, why that? You could do that?
Right? And then going back to the king a bit, he does discuss stuff with the traders. It's like, we won't be doing this anymore. And the trader's like, fine, if you don't do that, we won't have our protection. And he's like, well, I guess you won't have our protection either. And the guy's like, oh, alright.
Yeah. You're not the only one with the big guns here.
Yeah. And then Oyo is like assembling a coalition, and then Ogoje do ambush them with like the exploding termite hills, because they do borrow Naoi's strategy. And this is an all-out battle to the finish, and you're like, I'm here for it.
Yeah.
Again, Niska's a tank, and you see more Arab battleship from like Izoge and Naui and Naui's friends. And you're like, I think they're gonna pull it off. I think they're gonna win.
I also thought the same thing.
Yeah.
Where they just pretty much decimate this whole, what was it, clan, was it?
Yeah, the rival tribe.
Yeah, the rival tribe. And I was like, oh, fuck.
I love how
yeah.
there's a sequence where Izoge caps a guy with a machete and just throws backhands a knife towards one guy's throat with like a bigger knife. Like, fucking shit.
Yeah. Oh, I love that scene where, like, one of the girls was, like, occupied by another, like, by the enemy.
Yeah.
And I forgot who it was. But, like, she dives in to, like, catch one of the rifles and shoot the guy who was about to shoot her.
Oh, yeah, it was the one of the
like,
captives from the Oyo tribe who, like, became a Golger herself.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, she gets shot in the process. She's like, fuck, I'm bleeding.
It is very, like, not anti-contact, but it's, like, very sudden how they die.
Yeah.
And it's very realistic. Like, that's how it usually is. They're like, fuck.
Yeah.
I ain't making it in, like, 5 minutes.
Though, unfortunately, in the big mess of the battle, you find out that now he's captured, and then later on you find out that Izogi's captured. Like, oh shit. I hope this still ends well. I don't want to see our heroes being sold off to God knows where.
Well, if an Goje gets sold off somewhere, like say somewhere in the States, into a plantation, I don't think that plantation would last that long.
Yes.
That place would have been burning. Everybody would have had their heads on a stake. I'm like, ooh.
Yeah. But going back to the home and they're celebrating, and the king's like, "Good job, guys." And then the Niska's like, "Can we go back for the captives?" No, but Izagi's one of them. So is Nawi. You don't know she's my daughter, though. No, don't disobey
Yeah,
orders.
yeah, that was a thing where they're like, "Hey, I'm appointing you as head, I guess, manager of this whole new enterprise that they're doing with the whole palm oil, since
Yeah.
she did show that they can produce it." And but now she has the choice: is either you stay, you follow my orders, because you won't get another chance.
Yeah,
Because like the whole movie, one of the king's wives is pretty much against
the Niska.
Miniska here. Like the whole time she's like trying to like pull her down, disagree with what she wants to do, and now she's like, "Oh, hey, I'm here for you, girl. I'm on your side." I was like, "Nah, shut the fuck up."
But as soon as the Niska's in trouble, it's like, "All right, it's my time to shine." I'm like,
Yeah.
no, fuck you. And then Niska does go off, but before that, we get the escape scene between Nawi and Izagi. We're like, all right, once we do this, we grab the guns, we escape, we run like heck, and like we're good. But like one of them gets captured, and then Nawi gets captured too, and Izagi tries to go back for her, but she's shot like in the heart, and they're like, fuck, I like
Yeah.
this person.
Oh god. Yeah. And like before that, there was a scene where her arm was broken,
Yeah,
and they had to push it back, and I was like, ah.
she had to cover him out too, cause the guards would be like, what the fuck is happening?
Yeah, because they would kill anybody who's just, well, as they would say, broken.
Yeah. But she's shot twice, and poor Nawi has to hold her in her arms as she's dying. She doesn't even get to say much of, like, except, like, oh, you're as slow as a slot. You're like, ah, fuck. Thought you were gonna make it to the end of this movie.
Same here. But I guess we had to lose somebody who's like a big,
One of the characters.
yeah, one of the characters that like was essential to this main character's life.
Thankfully, though, Nawi is given to the sympathetic trader, and he's like, I know this is a bad situation, but you killed a white man, and God knows what they're gonna do to you if I don't own you. Own you. But here's the key:
Yeah.
you can escape anytime.
Yeah,
So he's like,
that's
ah,
sympathetic.
he's like, ah, fuck you, but thank you. He's like, oh, cool, okay.
Oh. Again, they didn't really lean. Did they kiss? I don't remember.
No, none of that
Good.
bullshit.
Good.
Uh,
It wasn't. It wasn't their thing. Like like. I'm glad that they didn't go down that route.
Yeah, and then the Niska runs through the fields, and then she's joined by her BFF and the general, the guy general in the beginning who was supposed to, like, oh, why don't I have the king's respect? She's like, you're supposed to earn respect, dumbass. He's like, oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah, that was the whole fucking thing with like she is the one who's like producing results while the main wife is kind of just like there
Yeah,
producing this.
and the guy's not doing anything at all aside from like just patrolling the town. I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
But he does accompany her, and then she goes to where the Godra and the rest of her clan is being held captive. She's like, oh, they're like, oh, bad news, Izagi has died. We don't know where your daughter is. And she's like, all right, burn this entire port, no prisoners. And we're like, fuck yeah.
Fuck yeah.
I need to see all these colonizers being brutalized. Like, yes, especially
Yes.
then this
They're
goes right
Spanish.
hand. Then yes, and then this just right hand beating one slaver with a chain again and again. Like, yeah, again, hit him again.
Do it again. Look, we got a lot of pent up rage, alright?
Yes.
We've been occupied for like 300 years. So let us have this.
And then Niska just wants one thing, which is Oyo King's head. She does get it is a brutal battle. Like, she cuts down his horse, and like, oh shit, where does it go from here? And it's not a clean fight for her either. She does get decked a couple of times. She does get the upper hand, does pierce his heart, and it's like, you don't remember me, but you will. And you're like, fuck.
This is the point where we're like, oh shit, that's her dad. Well,
Yeah.
not Ministers, but like
Now he's
fuck,
dead.
what was it? Now he's dead. So this is like mother and father just like killing each other. Father being a horrible rapist, but yeah.
Yes. Uh, but like now he does take out a few colonizers too, in like a European style dress. Like I like how the guy is like, you don't have any clothes, but can you wear this for your sake? And she's like, okay.
Fine.
And then one slaver with a sympathetic slaver, they're escaping, but the guy cuts off the ropes, and then the rest of the slaves just beat the main slaver up to death. You're like, oh fuck.
I love that shit. I love it. Where he's like, they were like childhood friends,
Yeah,
but he did see his like true nature.
yeah.
And then he was like, "All right, you guys are free." And then they just like grab the guy and starts drowning him.
Start beating the shit out of him. I was like, hit him again. He's still breathing.
Do it again. I wasn't looking. This is very cathartic kind of movie.
Yes. And then they do celebrate back home, but the king's like, you disobeyed my orders. That being said, I now grant you the highest ranking, second highest ranking of the woman king. You've earned it, the greatest warrior among us. And you see all of the Ugoje celebrate, and like her daughter now, he just has this like look of like, yeah, we've earned this.
Yeah, I got shocked by that one. Though. I completely forgot that Woman King was a title. Like when he goes like, "You are now Woman King," I was like, "Oh shit, are you serious?" But yeah, and I love it every time they like chant. It's
Yeah.
always kind of hyper. Like, oh yeah. I was like, okay, I want to join along.
And then Naui and Anisio do patch things up of like, we didn't get the best cards, but we made the most out of it, and look where we are. I'm the Woman King, and you are essentially the daughter of the Woman King.
Mm-hmm.
And then it ends with them looking at the port of like, yeah, they'll be back and we'll be ready. I'm sure it turns out well for them.
I hope.
I hope.
But knowing Africa now, unless there's a hidden city that they're keeping secret and the whole world just doesn't know about it.
I mean, I don't know about the whole history of Dahomey. Maybe it just lived successfully selling palm oils for the rest of its life.
I don't know.
I mean,
really don't know.
Rome was a successful empire, but obviously now it's like scraps. So I don't know where Dahomey is in Africa, but I'm sure there might be some remnants of that kingdom.
God hope so. I really hope so.
Yeah. But yeah, it's a interesting ending and a very fantastic movie, I would say. And again,
Yeah.
I don't know why it wasn't nominated for anything. Not Best Picture, not Best Actress at the very least. I'm like, that's weird. But yeah, what would you rate The Woman King?
No, like I was in it for because colonizers getting their comeuppance. I'm all in for that. And then seeing Viola Davis being jacked as fuck, kicking ass, and I'm like, I'm also there for that. And performance-wise, everybody did great. I really thought they were gonna butcher it with the whole love scene bullshit, where like colonizer dude, or sorry, like trader guy or Trader Joe, whatever, falls in love with the daughter, and they have this whole conflicting thing, and they didn't pull through. I was like, good, because it's not about them. It's not about that. So I'm so happy they stuck to their guns and just told us the story of the Ogoje and the Woman King, Miniskam, and yeah, like the choreography was fucking great. I really wonder if that was legitimately Viola Davis, like like fucking doing a drop kick to one Spanish guy.
Oh my god, that's amazing
Yeah.
to see. Like,
Yeah,
damn.
so like, and I really do want to rewatch this time as leisure. I want to watch it, not for a review, but just to enjoy. So I'm gonna give this one a 9 out of 10. It's a pretty high score for a pretty great movie,
Yeah.
and it sucks that it didn't get as popular. I sadly didn't watch it through
Theater.
theaters because I was still poor. Like I
We,
didn't have money that much.
we weren't working boys back then. Now we are.
Yeah, now we are. Now we got cash to watch movies, but
Yeah.
we got to be picky. Money is still kind of hard to come by.
Yeah, that's why we don't see like Creed 3 yet, unfortunately. So we'll do
Yeah.
that definitely, but for now, we're still pretty picky about the movies you see in the theaters. I mean, going to the past,
Yeah.
it's not so difficult. Like, we can just cherry pick of whatever you want to do.
Yeah.
Uh, I would rate this. Yeah, I would rate this also 9. Like, there's really nothing I would see of like why would you give this anything below a 9.
Yeah.
Viola Davis is amazing in this movie. You're like, there's another layer to you, which I'm glad to see. Of like, you're just sheer badass now. Her, Lashana Lynch, and Joan Boyega. I'm glad all of you are in this movie, because I'm sure it will do wonders for the future, especially for like Joan Boyega. Like, please get more roles with more substance, and then Viola Davis, please keep branching out to whatever you want to do, and for Lashana Lynch as well, because obviously action James Bond's cool, but like historical epics are also cool. I'm glad when the sympathetic trader it didn't become, Pocahontas or Avatar, the Home edition. We're like, oh, cool, thanks. But yeah, action's pretty good, story's pretty good twists and good turns. Overall, a really good time. Just like being hyped of like, yeah, I need more historical epics like this. Hopefully, Gladiator 2 next year fills that void while we're waiting for the next epic
I heard there's gonna be a Lapu-Lapu movie.
with Danny Trejo
Yeah, I
As-
don't.
as what's his face, Magellan.
Yeah, so I really can't wait. I really hope it's gonna be very cathartic. Please don't butcher it, please.
I hope it's on equal views of like this is how it went down, and it's not biased towards Magellan's point of view. It's not biased towards our view. It's just like this is how it went down. If you try to conquer people, you get murdered, or not murdered, killed.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you just get a big fuck you from the world.
Yeah. I forgot which Filipino actress was in it. Is it Ann Curtis?
I hope so. She's a great actress.
Yeah, it's either Ann Curtis or Bea Alonzo. I think I forgot what the article said, but can't wait to see Jack Magellan versus Jack Lapu-Lapu, hopefully.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's been our video on The Woman King. What do you guys think? Comment below, be cool. And if you want to see more of us on YouTube, please like, subscribe, and ding the bell icon to get notified of when we upload next. You can also find us on TikTok and Spotify. Spotify to hear us on the go. TikTok to see our best and funniest moments. Individually, you can find me at Gandelphus1995 on Twitter. How about you?
You can find me at JohnGLM_ on Instagram. It is my account.
Yes. And until the next lineup or special video, we'll see you then. Bye, everybody.
Ciao.